Hello and welcome to this WordPress tutorial on how to create a basic gravity form. So to get started, you can either click here on forms and and then click on subsequently on new form, or you can come up here to new and form, or if you're already here, you can click add new here. So there's multiple ways to do the same thing yet again in WordPress. So we're going to name this form test form. You can describe it. This is a test form. This can either display on the front end of your site or not. You can hide and or enable it, and that goes for the form title as well. Alright, so we created the form here, and you will find that this is going to be an extremely user-friendly sort of setup. It's drag and drop, and you have your available fields over here to your right. The ones you're going to mostly use is standard and advanced. The standard stuff is just like a generic text box. You know, by default they'll say untitled, but of course you can say things like location or whatever you want, basically whatever input you want in that text box. And then you've got a few parameters here. You can say type in please let us know your location, or whatever you want to kind of describe to give the user a hint of what you're looking for. You can also make the field required, so that if the user does not input anything, it will not let that person proceed to submit the form. So it'll backtrack and say, hey, you need to come back here and fill this field out. And then you can have it to where it maxes out the characters. I don't know if you're going to really need to use that, but that might be useful in some circumstances. Appearance will also allow you to do this one will probably be something you commonly use, placeholder. It actually enters it into the input text field. So enter your location, something to describe your text input, and when if the user were to click on that, and I will just show you in the preview, and then actually we won't have a preview till we publish it, so I can't show you a preview just yet. But if they clicked into that, then the enter your location placeholder will go away. So that's pretty cool stuff. So just something to see. And you've got some other things like this other stuff is more for developers. Except for maybe the description placement, you can move the description placement to maybe above, and then you can size the field size if you like, small, medium, or large. And then, of course, you've got your other familiar fields that you've seen on many a web form. You've got your paragraph, text, same kind of stuff as you saw in text field. Advanced, you probably won't be messing with, but if you get really good at gravity forms, you might want to revisit. Drop-down menu, of course, the familiar little drop-down deal. That'll allow the user to choose from one of however many choices you like. Of course, you can rename these. These are by default. And you can plus extra fields if you like, and that way there's more. And, of course, you can subsequently X amount, minus amount. You've got, let's see, checkboxes is another one. Works similarly to what you saw in drop-downs, except, of course, they can choose more than one choice, which is the idea behind checkboxes. And again, just kind of, if you want to survey around, I don't think there's really much that applies here. There's not much you can do with appearance, but you can put a description, and you can affect the placement of that description. So that's probably one thing that's common throughout. And then you have radio buttons, which is, of course, like a multiple choice kind of deal. They can only choose one option, whatever you want to label it as, and put a description, and however many choices you want. You can go to infinity. And I think those are kind of the main ones. If we go to advanced fields, this is a really handy section. I would highly recommend utilizing this one. You can drag a name field, so you don't have to continuously enter that. And when you open it up, you'll notice you can turn these little options on to do a prefix, to do a middle name, to do a suffix. Totally optional. I will say that if you want to turn off first name and just have name, but you're not happy with that, you're like, well, I want to get rid of first. You're going to have to do a text field. Unfortunately, that's as far. This is really geared towards this kind of a setup. So if you wanted to make that particular field just be name, then you just want to do a single text line text field. You can also do date, handy when you want to ask for date of birth or whatever. You can format that. You can ask select, excuse me, the predefined date format here. Just label it, and when they click on that, a little pop-up box will appear with a calendar picker, which is awesome. You can do phone number, just a quick drag of that, because that's a common one used. Address is also commonly used. This will be easy drag and drop. It'll default to international, so you want to switch that to probably the US. You can also pick the default state if you like, and that'll populate here for the user. All the familiar things, you know, again, you can toggle between this. And you may not be, again, this is the way it's formatted, so if you turn off state, for example, zip code pops up. You know, if you get rid of city but leave zip, you know, it's going to look like that. There's not really much you can do with the design if you wanted to make say zip code go full width, unless you know how to code. So, but it's still handy to have nonetheless. And of course, you can have email field, which is very handy. You can make the email field be you can enable an email confirmation, so they have to enter it twice, which is pretty sweet. Of course, you can make any field required, as mentioned before. But yeah, that way they have to enter it. You know, a lot of times people copy and paste their email, or maybe they inputted it wrong. You want them to just kind of input it again so that they got it doubly right. You can also do things like file uploads, which is pretty cool. So they can actually pick files and drag and drop, and you can get pretty meticulous with this stuff as far as what you can do with it. I'll just let you kind of explore that. And finally, I would say another big one that's often used is CAPTCHA. Now, by default, you're going to not have what you're seeing here. I have the plugin called Really Simple CAPTCHA, and CAPTCHA spelled that way. You can look for this plugin or app in the WordPress.org repository. So just go to plugins. You can see a video tutorial on that. Add new, and then look for Really Simple CAPTCHA. Install it, activate it, and then you'll have that option. The second option you can utilize is Google's reCAPTCHA. So R-E and then C-A-P-T-C-H-A. Just Google that, and you'll find it. I think it's getreCAPTCHA.com, I believe it is. But if you just Google reCAPTCHA, it'll be the first result on your organic results. But that will also allow you to use Google's method, which is a more effective one than the Really Simple CAPTCHA. But this is a quick way to get CAPTCHA with that plugin. You'll have to go under Settings, I will say. I'm going to go ahead and leave this form. And let's see. Yeah, you're going to have to hit a public key and a private key. That Google will produce that when you fill in the form. Just input those two, hit save, and then all your forms can have the CAPTCHA option. So simple as that. So once you drag in a CAPTCHA, it'll automatically default to reCAPTCHA. But in this case, it's doing Really Simple CAPTCHA. And when you're done, of course, you hit Update Form, and that's it. And then when you're ready to populate on a page, it's even easier. So you just go to Pages, you go to whatever page that you're going to edit, and you have a specialized, let's go to Visual Mode here. You can, let's just go to the end. You go to here, this button, Add Form. You select your form. And this is where I was talking about where you can display the form title in the description. You can either leave it on or you can turn it off. And then I would kind of recommend going to Advanced Options, and you'll see what is tab index. I just recommend choosing a number higher than 1. Just do 2. And then what it does is and we'll insert it in, and then I'm going to update and show you what it looks like on the other side. Actually, I didn't update the form, so I'm probably not going to be able to show you the form itself, but because it's probably going to say, yeah, there's nothing there. There's just a submit button because I didn't populate the form because I didn't save it. But anyways, careless me. So yeah, so that's how you control the form from a drag and drop operation. And lost my train of thought, but so you can explore other things like notifications and confirmation pages. So after they hit submit, where are they going to go? A thank you page. Notifications, of course. What email address is it going to be sent to? Hope you found this video tutorial helpful. Thank you so much for joining us. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, as I constantly update it with WordPress tutorials, and like this video as well, and comment with any of your questions. I'd be happy to answer anything you have. Thanks so much.